Going to talk about classes and how to call methods, properties, and we are going to create a working program which deals with the dices while playing a game in which you throw dices and there are total 6 sides of a die. So we are going to create a program, and we are also going to talk about regions. So basically over here we have to state that there is some facts about this statement. uh, this is our main class, a program.cs file. So we basically, what you see over here: initialize random number generator, create two dices. These are basically regions, and a region, when you scroll over it, it basically tells you that what this portion of the code does. Region is an imperative factor in coding. Region enables you to increase the readability of your program while also making the code more modular, increases the modularity of your code so that you can perform updations easily. The maintenance phase becomes easier. So basically, when you expand a region, you can see the tag, it starts with region and end with hashtag end region. So this is the body of a region, and over here on top is the title. First of all, and we will use the random number generator class and call the method initialize. That means a random number will be generated. So we this is an object, random number generated, and we though this is basically a class, sorry, random number generator, and it will enable us to generate random numbers. So after that we will go to the other regions. We will create two objects of the die class. So this is the way we initialize the values, and we will use a constructor, and we will create two objects called die1 and die2, and we will initialize them. So before going any further, I would like to show to you that the die class, so basically the die class contains of uh, certain factors, like the class consists of, this is your class name die, and it contains, we have used regions. We created two integer data type variables, top side and number of sides. So the number of sides is 6, and the top side we will generate randomly. Then we created a constructor. So basically what this constructor does is it's for the 6-sided die. And now we will call the the second constructor, which is, it takes parameters or arguments. Its data type is integer, and this means this particular class, and we will assign the number of sides, and we will assign the top side to 1. And then we created properties of top side and number side, and this is our roll method, which is responsible for rolling the dice. As you can see that we are basically calculating the top side. We use the random number generator class and call a method next, pass the argument number sides, and then increment it by 1. So this is our roll method. And now we will check our random number class, and in this class we basically created an object rand of the random class which is static. Now static is an imperative keyword. Static means that we can call this object rand without explicitly creating an object. We can just use the class name dot the access of pop operator and then the variable name. For example, random dot rand. This is how we made it static because it will be mostly used. So the objects or the variables which are mostly used, we make them static, so we can call them again and again without explicitly creating an object every time. So in the initialize method, we basically generate a new random number and assign it to the rand variable. We call the constructor, and there is another method called the next, and what this next method does, it returns an integer data type value, a number, and we in the argument, the parameter, we pass an integer data type value called max value. It also calculates the next value by passing the parameter maximum value. So this is how it works. And now we are going to our program.cs class, and we will see what's happening in the class program. First of all, in the main method, we created regions over here. As you can see, first of all, we will initialize random number generator. In this region, we basically initialized, we call the initialize method of random number generator class. And this will enable us to generate a random number. Next, we will create two dices. Now this is really simple. We will just use the object oriented way of declaring and initializing an object at the same time. So we created two objects, die1 and die2, and then we will tell the dice to roll themselves. So we will call the method roll on die1 and die2, and then eventually we use the print region, and we will print the top side of die, and we will call its property top side. The getter of top side will be called, and by using the plus operator, which is the string concatenation operator, we will join merge two strings and we will display its values. Now we are going to run the program. The build has started. So now you can see that the top side of die1 is 2 and number of sides of die1 is 6. Similarly, top side of die2 is 1, and this is how a basic program works, and you should code this to understand the logic, the flow. It is imperative for you to practice daily.